Hello there you guys, welcome to one of my videos. According to reports from Spain, Zinedine Zidane has rejected Manchester United as he's not ready for the Premier League, and Zinedine Zidane is wanted by PSG. Earlier on this week, it said that Zinedine Zidane turned Manchester United down as he pretty much agreed to take the France job, and it said Zidane is not available until the summer, because Zidane did let Manchester United's board know that he isn't ready for the Premier League and he prefers to take a break until the summer. Zidane is managerless because he left Real Madrid in the summer, and you've got to admire what Zinedine Zidane did at Real Madrid. He won a lot of trophies with them, so reflecting on that, he's got a good pedigree behind him. And it would be good for Zinedine Zidane to come and experience the Premier League because he's not yet managed in the Premier League. You know, Man United hoped that Zidane's close relationships with Ronaldo and Varane could have persuaded him to join. Ronaldo wants Zidane at Manchester United. He's already made that clear, but I reckon Zidane would be the right man for Man United. I think he'd suit the strappings of the club. He'd get us back to that level where we should be at. He'd get the best out of these group of players, and he would be capable of winning trophies. Now I want to give you some news on Mauricio Pochettinho. According to Sky Sports News, Mauricio Pochettinho is Manchester United's first choice to take over as manager next summer. It said the other week that Pochettinho is considering a return to the Premier League on his next job. Pochettinho is the PSG boss at the moment, and he's got a full season left on his PSG contract. Pochettinho is a good manager, even though he hasn't really won anything. Plus, he's managed in the Premier League before. Don't forget, Pochettinho endured a 5.5-year tenure with Tottenham. Analysing the vast majority of his tenure at Tottenham, Tottenham were competing in and out of the top four. And in 2018, Pochettinho guided Tottenham to their first ever Champions League final. I think Tottenham made a big mistake sacking Pochettinho. And before Pochettinho managed Southampton, he actually guided Southampton to their highest ever finish in the Premier League. Brendan Rodgers, he's still being spoken about. Prior to the Watford game, it said that Brendan Rodgers distances himself from the Man United job. He did say reports linking him with the Man United job were not true, and he's proud to be at Leicester. Well, not so long ago, Brendan Rodgers was house hunting in Cheshire. And it said that Brendan Rodgers is the favourite to replace Solskjaer. The Manchester Evening News said earlier on in the season that Man United were ready to trigger Brendan Rodgers' contract clause. And earlier on this season, it said Rodgers had verbally agreed to become Manchester United's new manager, but his preference would be to wait until next season, as he's reluctant to leave Leicester midway through the season. Would Brendan Rodgers be the right manager for Manchester United? Well, you've got to admire what he's done at Leicester. So far at Leicester, he's won the Community Shield and the FA Cup. And he's been in charge of Leicester for almost 3 years. He's got a contract with Leicester until 2025. There again, Leicester have been very poor this season, so reflecting on that, is Rodgers under some pressure at Leicester? Eric Ten Hag, I heard he wants the Manchester United job, and you've got to admire what he's done at Ajax. He's won a few trophies with them, and he's been Ajax manager for 4 years. Today, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was sacked by Manchester United following the 4-1 defeat to Watford. Obviously, the Watford game was Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's final game in charge of Man United. After the defeat to Watford, Solskjaer said his goodbyes to the players and the staff. Manchester United paid Solskjaer over £7 million because in the summer Solskjaer signed a 3-year contract with an option of a further year. Solskjaer was sacked after almost 3 years in charge. I'm surprised Solskjaer lasted as long as he did. The reason he lasted as long as he did is because, he's a legend of the club. Disregarding him being a legend of the club, I can assure he would have been sacked a long time ago. Despite Solskjaer getting sacked today, we'll always adore him, reflecting on what he's done for the club. Solskjaer will always be a club legend, and Solskjaer endured 11 years as a player for Man United. And he flourished under Sir Alex Ferguson's guidance. Solskjaer had a proven pedigree when he was a player for Man United because he won a lot of trophies. But unfortunately, Solskjaer didn't have a proven pedigree as a manager. The clubs Solskjaer has managed in his managerial career, obviously managed Man United's reserve team for a couple of years. Obviously he managed Cardiff. His record at Cardiff was absolutely disastrous. The reason he got sacked from Cardiff is because he got them relegated. He only enjoyed a short tenure with Cardiff. He managed Molde. He endured 2 spells at Molde. He won a few Norwegian titles at Molde, but they're not a big club. And of course he managed Manchester United's senior squad. But reflecting now on he was Man United manager Solskjaer, he did gain some managerial experience and he did learn a few different things on the job. But obviously there's still plenty of things Solskjaer's got to learn because he's still a young coach. By the way, Solskjaer, he's taken a break from management after, he was sacked by Manchester United. Reflecting on the defeat to Watford, Manchester United have lost 4 of their last 5 in the league, and Man United have only won 1 of their last 7 in all competitions, and Man United are currently sitting 7th in the league. Solskjaer obviously didn't win a trophy as Manchester United manager. And I said Solskjaer was never capable of winning trophies as United manager. Man United have not won a trophy since 2017. You know, we did all want Solskjaer to succeed. But obviously, he was never going to succeed as manager. The expectations were far too high for Solskjaer to exceed as United manager, and Solskjaer was in a position that he shouldn't have been in. And this season was Solskjaer's third full season. You know, Solskjaer did get appointed in December 2018 to replace Mourinho. In his first 3 months at Man United, Solskjaer was the interim manager. And he did very, very well as the interim manager. So reflecting on that, the club decided to give him the job on a permanent basis back in March 2019. And then as soon as he got the job permanently, it all seemed to go wrong. Manchester United enjoyed a very good summer transfer window this year. You know, we made 4 signings, and 3 of the 4 signings were major signings. So reflecting on the signings we made in the summer, Solskjaer knew that the pressure was on him at the start of this season. Man United spent around £141 million in the summer transfer window. The board also backed Solskjaer very well as well. You know, the Glazers did back him, Ed Woodward backed him, John Murtaugh, our director of football, backed him, and Darren Fletcher backed him. And Manchester United have got a very, very good squad. But the reason we haven't been getting the best out of a lot of the players is because of the team of individuals. They don't actually play as a team. That's the problem. And obviously there wasn't playing for Solskjaer, but hopefully the next manager they get, they're going to play under him. I said Manchester United should be winning the title this season because we have got a title winning squad. You know, Man United have not won the Premier League since 2013. You know, Solskjaer is the 4th permanent manager to be sacked since Ferguson, because Man United have already sacked 3 managers since Ferguson. We sacked David Moyes after 10 months. We sacked Louis van Gaal after 2 years, won the FA Cup under him. And we sacked Jose Mourinho after like 2.5 years, despite him winning 3 trophies in his first season. So you can say Mourinho did enjoy one good season at Man United. So obviously now Manchester United are looking for a 5th permanent manager since Ferguson. There was positives to take from Solskjaer's managerial tenure at Man United. You know, I think when he was manager, he developed the youth well, and he more or less given everybody their chances to express themselves. Solskjaer did make good signings when he was United manager. He signed 14 players. And Man United spent over £400 million under Solskjaer. Ole also got rid of a lot of players as well. You know, he loaned players out. He also got rid of players permanently. In Solskjaer's first full season as United manager, he got us to 3 semi-finals, and he got us a 3rd place finish. In his second full season, he got us to the EFL Cup semi-final, the FA Cup quarter-final, and the Europa League final. And that was his first major final as Man United manager, but unfortunately he didn't win it. And last season, Solskjaer got us a 2nd place finish. And also, a lot of players' contracts were extended under Solskjaer. as you all know, Michael Carrick is the interim manager. Like I updated you on my last video, Man United are looking to appoint an interim manager until the end of the season. So obviously we've got Carrick now, but we're looking to get another one in. Players are going to be leaving Manchester United next year. Martial, he's going to be leaving next year. Cavani, I think he's going to be leaving next year. Mata, he's going to be leaving next year. Lingard, I think he's going to be leaving next year. Because prior to the Watford game, it said Jesse Lingard's future at Man United was in doubt after talks over a new contract collapsed. Lingard's current contract expires next summer at Manchester United. I heard not so long ago that Lingard could leave for just £10 million. Lingard's only made one start this season, that was the West Ham game in the Carabao Cup. I'm hearing that West Ham want to re-sign Lingard. Well, the second half of last season, Lingard enjoyed a 4-month loan spell with West Ham. And he made an impact. And I'm hearing as well that Lingard wants to go abroad. I think Donny van de Beek's also going in January. Well, the player himself has confirmed that he will be leaving in January because obviously Donny van de Beek has not been given enough game time. I also think that Matic is leaving the club next year. I think there's a good chance Pogba will leave Man United because it said not so long ago that Man United are prepared to sell Paul Pogba in the January transfer window. Well, it makes sense to cash in for him in January rather than let him go on a free next summer. Pogba may never play for the club again anyway because Pogba's out for the rest of 2021 because Pogba suffered a thigh injury in France training the other week. By the way, Pogba has served his 3-match ban. Tellez, I think he's also going next year because Tellez doesn't really get in the team. Jones and Bailly, I think they're going next year. They don't really get in the team a lot. I think Dalot's also going next year. He's another one that doesn't get in the team. And I think Dean Henderson is going out on loan. Dean Henderson has already confirmed that he wants a loan move away from Man United because he doesn't get in goal now because De Gea reclaimed that #1 spot back. But like I say, Manchester United have got very, very good players. You know, you've got the best player in the world overall in Cristiano Ronaldo. You know, you've got a talented player in Mason Greenwood. You know, Greenwood's still young. He's got a lot of development in him. I can assure he's got a long-term future at Man United. And you've got Rashford. That's also a talented player as well. And you've got Cavani, that's a good player. You've got Bruno Fernandes, that's an exceptional player. You've got Sancho, that's a good player as well. Sancho's been poor so far for Man United. But I think now under a new manager, we should start to get the best out of Sancho. You've got Donny van de Beek, that's a good player, but like I said, haven't had much of a perception on him because he hasn't been given enough game time at Man United. And you've got Paul Pogba, that's a good player, not only a good player, he's an imperative player. You've got Pisaka, who's defensively superb, but attacking side of his game is very, very poor. You know, you've got Bailly, that's a decent centre-half, but like I said, lost his place in the team a while ago. And you've got Varane, that's a good centre-half. Varane is out with a hamstring injury at the moment. It's the second injury he's endured since he signed for the club because Varane was out with a groin injury not so long ago. He was out with that groin injury for a few weeks. you've got Harry Maguire and Luke Shaw. That can be good. But they have not proven how good they can be so far this season. You know, Maguire's been terrible. He's been even worse since he came back from that calf injury. Don't forget, Maguire got sent off in the 4-1 defeat to Watford, so he can't play against Chelsea. And Luke Shaw, like I said, he's been very poor this season. I'm shocked in that aspect because I thought last season Luke Shaw was absolutely superb. He was far superior last season to how he has been so far this season. But I think now when we get a new manager, Shaw and Maguire should both regain their form. And obviously we've got De Gea, that's a very, very good goalkeeper. I've got to give him a lot of credit because I think he's done really, really well so far this season. You know, these inconsistent players at Man United, you know, Martial's not good enough to represent the club, but Martial doesn't really get in the team now. You know, Lingard's not good enough, but he doesn't really get in the team. Fred and McTominay are not good enough. Fred and McTominay have played a hell of a lot of games together in the centre midfield. You know, Jones isn't good enough to represent the club. Lindelof, he's another one that's not good enough to represent the club. So there you go. So anyway guys, that's everything to update you today. Drop your comments, likes below on the channel. If you do, consider subscribe as always, and take care. God bless, and I'll see you all again very, very soon.